I keep giving bad people good ideas.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be doing a little review, or I would say like a review on Sandbox, and just kind of discussing pretty much my future predictions of this game, and kind of talking about the current state of the game, and just shit like that. So, pretty much today's video, if you don't know Sandbox, pretty much everyone kind of thought it was going to be like Gary's Mod 2, and it ended up not being Gary's Mod 2 at all, which, again, I'm a little disappointed, but also it's kind of nice at the same time, because, again, at the same time, I feel like it's really hard and nearly impossible to replace something like a Gary's Mod, because it has such, like, long history, has such a strong community, and to port over all the maps, game modes, all that kind of shit onto a whole new platform is probably nearly fucking impossible with how many mods, plugins, all that kind of shit people have made over the years for Gary's Mod. But with Sandbox, it's kind of cool that it's, like I said, it's not Gary's Mod 2 because it has its own weird identity. You could kind of say it's a little bit like Roblox in a sense, where you have all these game modes or different games to play. But I would say it's more like an adult version. And also with Roblox, again, I don't play it, but from my memory, you really only have like the Roblox assets to use. So everything's like pretty blocky, Roblox looking. As this, you can make a fully different fledged out game with different assets, different whatever the fuck. Start from the complete ground up, or use the assets in the game. Or like it's kind of confusing to explain it, because like you could make a game completely different and completely from scratch, or you could make something more like kind of like a game mode or something like that. So those two like in betweens, but it's mainly just like different little games in one big game, if that makes sense. And if you don't know, theoretically with these games, so say you create a game on Sandbox, you really like it, it's really popular, you think it could be its own standalone game. What's really cool with Sandbox is you could technically publish the game or whatever the fuck from Sandbox straight to Steam. Yes, you have to pay the Steam fee to publish your game. That's like $100, but those usually sometimes like a rendering fee or whatever the fuck. Sometimes with certain programs and shit. And with Sandbox, luckily there isn't that fee, so really you could just render out your game, get it ready to publish to Steam, and just pay the one Steam fee, which is kind of cool. Again, when it comes down to that little nitty gritty part of like publishing games and shit, I've never really done that, so I don't really know too much. But from the information I've gotten, that's kind of what I've kind of pulled. So pretty much it's kind of nice. So technically, when you are ready to publish a game, some game developing softwares, you do have to pay some extra money to get your game ready to publish onto like Steam and shit. As again, like I said, Sandbox kind of covers that for you. You could get your game rendered and ready to publish to Steam for free, but when you do publish your game to Steam, you do still have to pay Steam to publish your game, if that makes sense. It's kind of confusing, so I don't know. At the end of the day, when I come to that part of my life, I will fucking deal with it, because at some point I do kind of want to try and create my own little game and see where that goes. Again, one thing that this thing does lack is this player base is kind of small. Like, again, it's not terribly dead, but it is a bit dead with it only, I think right now, at least if I try to check the player count right now, I should have probably had this up right earlier, but I checked it and it was like 1K before. Yeah, it's about 1K, 1.3K. Today it peaked at like 1.9K. So it's not like completely dead, but it is kind of struggling a little. And another issue is there is a ton of AI slop. Like, again, there's some content or some games that you could tell, okay, this is something legit that someone made. Someone actually put time into this. And then there's some that you could just tell is just straight up AI slop and just it is what it is. They say they're gonna start trying to take control over that. Necessarily maybe not ban all AI content, but at least put a caption over it, and to at least let people know, hey, this is AI generated slop and shit like that, and to kind of put more of a control over it. Because again, there is a whole marketing system where you can make your own models, like say you make your own clothing items and you can sell them, and you could also make money from your games. So again, there are going to be people that try and make AI slop to try and pull money out of this. And they're trying to pretty much put a cap on that, to kind of put a bit of a control on that, so then the money that people do make from their games are actually going to the right developers that are actually, like, you know, making good games and actually putting their time into making something good than just producing slop. But again, like, I do feel like with this, it only time can tell. I do feel like as more games kind of get released and people keep developing more new little games and shit, hopefully there's gonna be some that stick, that will pull people to want to buy this game, or to at least you know, buy it to play it. That the one weird thing with this is like what I was saying is, like, say a game gets really popular and like, oh, this could be its own standalone game, they could pull it from Sandbox. Well, not like pull it completely, but like, you know, pull it, get it ready to publish to Steam and publish it to Steam, and you just play it through Steam. So again, I'm not 100% sure how the hell it's gonna kind of play in the long run, but I do feel like once current developers kind of release what they are working on, and over the time, you know, and and over time they release more content, hopefully it draws more people into wanting to play, and then also with that it draws more people into wanting to develop games on here. Because I feel like the thing is, people want to develop and make games on here, but the issue is there's kind of not a whole bunch of people that want to play games on here. Because again, there's that AI slop layer that, again, they need to take care of and either get rid of, or at least put like it in its own like subcategory where no one touches, or whatever the fuck. I don't know. And then also, I just feel like it's only been like about a month since its full release, so I feel like it's just kind of, with right now, there's a whole bunch of AI slop being pushed. But then also with that, there's just a lack of actual, like, decent, like, not, those actual good games and stuff and decent little things I like playing on there, but I'm just saying there's, like, a little lack of content since it's just so brand new, and there's still people developing stuff or working on stuff or just stuff like that. So, hopefully, with time, it does kind of, pretty much just kind of, I don't know, just kind of like, again, like I said, pull more people in, and just kind of, again, they'll just more solid game modes, because right now the only solid game modes is like Ghoul Grounds that some people play, and it's kind of like a COD Zombies remake, but kind of a MS Paint style, Trouble in Terrace Town, but that a lot of people would just play that on Gmod, but again, people play on here, which isn't terrible, but again, just a little bit more solid game modes, because the most solid, most popular game mode on this is called Mow the Lawn, and you just mow your lawn, like, you just mow grass, like, this cannot be peak of the game. Like, again, for developers, the bar is not that high to fucking beat. You just have to beat a game where people are mowing the grass to grab people's attention to play something else. So, again, at the end of the day, it's in a really weird state. Because again, there's some really cool games like Blocks and Bullets. Like, I'm like, why the fuck is Block and Bullets dead? Oh wait, there's actually some people playing. Yeah, I might actually want to go fuck around and play on that. But pretty much, if you don't know, back in the day there was a game called Ace of Spades, and that game was fucking amazing. And Block and Bullets is pretty much like a remake of that. And it's cool seeing like cool little projects like that on here. But then at the same time you got like the AI slop bullshit and just kind of like a majority of people playing stupid shit like mow the lawn when again we could be playing cool shit like fucking Blocks and Bullets. That's like a remake of Ace of Spades. And Ace of Spades was cool. It was like Minecraft with guns. But again, I feel like it's a pretty solid thing. It's really hard to say. Like, I would say, don't buy it thinking it's gonna be Gary's Mod 2. If you want Gary's Mod 2, this is not for you. But if you want to have something to maybe hop on and play like a little bit of Flash games here and there, or just kind of mess around and see what people are developing, or again, there are some decent little games on here that are pretty fun to play. And again, I might make a video going over like top 5 games on here and just go over like my top games in that video or something like that, and just yeah, I might start doing a top little 5. That might actually be a good little series for me to do on here. But back to what I was kind of saying is like again, there is some decent little stuff on here. I do feel like this game it's gonna have to really, it's kind of in a limbo state where it's only time can tell is if developers develop anything good and anything that grabs people's attention to want to play this. I do feel like the tools they give you, again, I haven't fucked around with them too much, but I kind of try to look at it and see what you could do, and seeing what people have done and made, I do feel like it's a pretty solid thing, and I do feel like ideally it is a good concept. It's a cool concept. It's a viral concept. But really, this game is hard because games like Killing Floor or some shit, you could blame the developer being like, there's a lack of, it's a little bit of on Face Punch being like a lack of content here and there on certain things. But again, this is like a community-driven game. So it's not really like they could make a new map or make a new, like they can make new little game modes or whatever, but again, it's really on to the community to do that and make games and stuff like that. It's not really Face Punch's job. It's really the community's job to do that. So it depends if the developers hopefully can step up and, you know, create some cool stuff. And I'm not saying they can't or they're not or whatever, but again, hopefully what I'm trying to say is we see some solid, cool developers come out of this, and you know, we see some really cool games, and we could maybe see the early stages of some really cool games getting started on Sandbox that, you know, later on get released to Steam and shit like that. So again, only time can tell, but I do feel like, again, Sandbox, it's really hard to kind of say what it is, because I do think it's a cool concept, and I do think it is something that is a great tool, and it is really cool, and, you know, I'm glad it was created, but then at the same time, there's like, you click on it, and you see the AI slop, or you see some of the stupid shit, and you're just like, why? Why does this, why is this a thing? And then since it's just such an early on into it being released, there is a good handful of games, but there's not a ton. And the games that are released, they're not fully, like, developed yet. Again, either they're still being worked on, or they're kind of just a little slop game that somebody made, or they're kind of like a dump game, like somebody was just messing around, or whatever. But again, there are some completed projects and stuff, and I feel like, again, with time and stuff like that, with people completing their projects, creating new projects, and completing those new projects and stuff like that, I could see this hopefully, maybe not replacing Gary's Mod, but hopefully being on the same kind of level of Gary's Mod. Well, okay, Gary's Mod's fun to go hop on with your friends, fuck around, and, you know, mess around in a sandbox. And Sandbox is more like this cool developing tool, and you could play all these games that people are developing and stuff like that and stuff. So, I don't know. Hopefully, it's not just fucked. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's only like a time can tell type of thing with the current developers that are developing stuff on here. If they have the motivation to keep developing stuff, what they develop, if it's going to be good or if it's going to, you know, not be so good. But so far, there are some decent projects and some really cool stuff that I've seen. And, again, I do have faith that hopefully there are some cool projects that do come out of this. And, hopefully, maybe down the road, I try and make a little stupid game and, you know, it's playable and it's fun. I don't know. We'll see. But that's kind of my video for today. I don't want to ramble forever, but at the end of today, or at the end of the day, I do feel like it is worth to check out. It is only $20. You could wait till like a sale that comes along, but since the game is still pretty brand new, I don't think it's gonna go on sale anytime soon or on the Steam sales. Sometimes with newer games, they don't go on sale. So, I don't know, it might be 50-50 if this game goes on sale, but I definitely would say it's definitely worth checking out. And again, you could always refund it if you don't like it, but again, I would say at the end of the day, it's worth checking out and just at least having it in your Steam library and just checking it out every time, you know, every once in a while, and just seeing what people do develop, because again, people do develop some pretty cool, interesting projects on here. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.